My name's Allie Lewis. I am People Services Advisor looking after contact management recruitment and forced crime recruitment. The main part of my role is to advertise roles as they come through. I create adverts, liaise with internal managers, external stakeholders, recruitment agencies. My main role is contact management, and I basically take the lead on when we open recruitment, when we close recruitment. I manage all the numbers, I look after statistics, recruitment budgets, and I have a team of 2 underneath me that I look after on a day-to-day basis. So I joined Thames Valley Police in 2017. I started as a temp, as a recruitment administrator after ICT recruitment. I was made permanent in April 2018. I then was successful for an internal secondment into the resourcing team, which sort of gave me some experience working with establishment numbers, dealing more with line management, advising on things more. When the role came up as a recruitment advisor secondment, I applied for and was successful for it. I had already had good knowledge of Thames Valley Police, the recruitment systems. I'd already worked in the team, so I knew the recruitment process, so that sort of worked in my favour. Prior to joining TVP, I had completed my CIPD level 3, and I was in the middle of completing my level 5 in my own time, because I was interested in HR and I felt like I wanted to know more about it. And the role into recruitment was like a stepping stone for me to get into HR. For me, definitely coming into HR, having that CIPD qualification and that knowledge was really helpful, because I was able to sort of pick up on things and make decisions quite quickly, and because I already understood the sort of employment law aspect of it. Any of the roles that we recruit for, you need to have maths and English. Some of our roles do apprenticeships as well if you haven't got English and maths. We are a learning organisation, and one thing that I always recommend, that, you know, if you go into an interview, show, if you haven't got the experience, show that you are willing to learn, or, you know, show what you have done, that you're putting your name out there, that you're showing that, okay, I don't have line management experience, but a couple of weeks ago I sat with, I don't know, Tracy from the other team for a day, and I observed her doing a one-to-one, I observed her doing a performance meeting, so I understand what kind of things are expected of me. I look up on different websites to find out more information about the role. I've read through the JD, I think I can tick this, this, this and this off. We have a thing that we do every year called a PDR, and within that you have to show your CPD throughout the year. And I mean, I expect my team to have at least 3 or 4 if they can. That could be anything, a training course, you know, observing someone. There's 2 things actually. The first one is my team. So I work really hard to build a relationship with my team, to build that trust. I feel like they're comfortable to message me when I'm not in work. You know, they're comfortable to talk to me about things that aren't work related. We've built that trust, and it's so nice to see a team member who sort of started and didn't have a clue, was quite shy, to sort of build and grow their confidence and know that you helped support them get there. And then the other thing is, when people say to me, oh, what do you do for a living? And I say, oh, HR advisor. And they go, oh no, don't want to talk to you because HR are like the bad guys. But I say, no, actually, I do recruitment for the 999 call handlers, and I manage that recruitment. And they kind of think, oh, okay. And I'm like, yeah, so I'm the person who brings the people in to help you and your family members when there's an emergency. And that for me is just an amazing thing to know. Out of this massive force and everything we do, I'm just that little person that in the background that links in to the bigger picture. It is nice to know that even if you're not on the front line or answering those phone calls, you are making your mark and putting that effort in to help support the public. And I'm proud to serve the Thames Valley Police. One of the most challenging things for me, especially in HR, is getting line managers to build that trust and to build that relationship with other management where they take your advice. Because I think, you know, a lot of people, like I said earlier, when you hear HR, you're like, oh my God, no, don't touch HR. They're the bad guys. They control everything. So I think a lot of managers have that thought in their head. So when you sort of say to them, oh, actually, have you thought about that decision you're going to make? And have you investigated, have you thought about this, and this, the repercussions, when you look at it from an employment law perspective? And they're just like, do you know what, this is my decision, it's none of your business. And I think that for me is the main challenge, is knocking that wall down and building that relationship with them so they trust your judgment, take your advice, because ultimately we are only there to advise, we're not there to tell people what to do. So for me, I have a flexible working pattern because I have a 6-year-old child who obviously goes to school. So a lot of my hours are planned around school times. Some days I work later, some days I start earlier. When I first started in the role, I was only doing 4 days a week. And then I was 20 hours, and then I upped my hours to 30 a couple of years ago with a shift pattern. And then when my son started school, I spoke to my line manager, I submitted a flexible working request, and it was approved within a week. So just to give you a gist, at the moment I work Monday, Tuesday, Friday, 8:30 till 2:30. And then on a Wednesday, I do 8:30 till 3:30. And on a Thursday, I do 8:30 till 4. So Thursday is my long day because that's the day that I can get childcare. For me, there was never an issue with flexibility. I think obviously depending on the department that you're interested in working for, it all depends on what they can accommodate. The force is very open to flexible working. Definitely the CIPD website. They have anything and everything you need to know about HR on CIPD. People can ask me questions and I will literally go into CIPD and type it in and it comes up with just a range of answers. I have gone to a few mock tribunals. It's very interesting, depending on what the subject is of the tribunals. I've attended one that was about maternity, which was really interesting. And then at the end, they ask you a question and everyone has to vote whether you think their side would be upheld or not. Especially when I was studying, I took a lot of books out of the library. I mean, a lot of things on Google. You can find previous cases that you can sort of refer back to if you've got a situation that you feel that you need some proper evidence against. But the library, definitely. We actually have in the office at work like a range of books that people have given to the office for anyone to use who's studying or wants to find out more about the qualification or the role, or HR wants to look into something. I do also get notifications from people management, which is linked in with CIPD, and they send me emails daily of different tribunals that have happened, different cases, what the outcome was. They send articles of how people are dealing with the current COVID situation, and they give you advice. It's really quite interesting. I get a monthly magazine that comes through from CIPD. They talk about all sorts of things: diversity in the workplace, getting people back to work, flexible working, maternity, paternity, all sorts of things. You don't need to have CIPD to get into a HR administrator role. It's something that we look into. It's something Thames Valley Police can support you with, but it's not required. But for me, it was easier for me to understand the role because I already understood the background of HR, and it was easier for me to give advice, and but most roles are very process based anyway, so it's not necessarily the kind of information you need to know about. But when it comes to things like employment law, a lot of things go to your advisor anyway. But if you're looking for an advisor role, I would definitely recommend it, because you could find that you're advising on things that is an unknown world. I mean, I advise on things on a daily basis that I forget actually if I didn't understand employment law, I probably wouldn't be giving this advice. Thames Valley Police is definitely the best employer that I have ever worked for. I'm proud to work for them. I feel supported. I feel like any development that I want to do is encouraged. This is the first role that I've woken up and been like, right, okay, this is my plan for today. This is what I'm going to get done. I'm excited to get my work done, and I'm excited to see what the week holds. And a week for me flies by. I know I'm part-time, but I don't have enough hours in the week. That's how I think. Whereas people who don't like their jobs are just like, oh, my week's so long, I don't want to do this anymore. I have never had that thought since I've been with TVP. I've got a friend who works in MASH, which is like the safeguarding of children. She's a missing person coordinator. And I recommended the role. I looked into the post for her. I, sent her all the links, and I was like, you need to join TVP, it's the best role. And she's, she started as a temp, she was made permanent, she's still in the role. That was 3 years ago, and she loves her job. So, I would definitely recommend anyone and recommend this employer, 100%.